What's going on, everybody? This is Ultimate iDevice Vids, and today in this video we're going to be doing a speed test comparison between the iPhone 7, the iPhone 8, and the iPhone 10. So we're going to be doing various tests, including a boot test, app launching test, Safari web page test, and of course a Geekbench test. Now, you should take this test with somewhat of a grain of salt, just because it's not a scientific test. It's more of just a visual exercise to see which device will complete, a couple different tasks first. And, also keep in mind that all these tasks don't necessarily represent how a device is going to perform in all areas. Also keep in mind that the results might vary depending on a few factors, for example, how much stuff you have on your device, also the iOS version that you're running on your device. However, of course, for this video, we are going to be using the same iOS version on all three of these devices, which is the current latest iOS version, which is iOS 11.1.2, as you can see right here. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the boot test here. So we're just going to go ahead and exit out of all applications on these devices. As you can see right here, just going to close everything out. So there's nothing in any of the app switchers. And just to let you guys know, the iPhone 7 is on the far left. The iPhone 8 is on the middle, as you can see right here with the shiny glass back. And of course, the iPhone 10 is on the far right. So just to let you guys know the format for this video. And of course, that will be followed throughout the entire video. And we're just going to go ahead and power off the devices here. Power these off. And then the iPhone 10 over here. So how this is going to work is, as you can see, we have three chargers plugged into the same surge protector, and those three chargers are plugged into the three iPhones here. So we're just going to go ahead and position the phones here, and we're going to turn on the surge protector, and it's going to turn on all of the iPhones at the exact same time. Now, I do want to say, don't hold too much stock in the boot test in particular, because again, this is not going to determine how the device is going to perform in all areas. It's just kind of an exercise that people like to see. And I'm not going to cut anything out of this portion of the video. I'll just leave it in to let you guys know how long this is going to take. So as you can see right there, the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10 pretty much booted up at the exact same time, and then the 7. But once again, don't really think too much about this particular test. Alright, so now let's do some app launching tests. So before we begin, I just want to show you guys that the app switchers on all these devices are empty, as you can see right here, nothing running. So we're going to go ahead and start off with some App Store games. So we have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Subway Surfers, and Temple Run installed on all these devices. We also have Geekbench 4, which again, we're going to be using in a little bit. And one more thing, guys, just wanted to show you guys in the accessibility settings that 3D Touch is disabled on all these devices, just because it occurred to me that when launching the applications, I might accidentally start to trigger 3D Touch, which could technically delay things. So just wanted to show you guys that that's off. And now we could go ahead and continue. We'll just go ahead and close settings. We'll just remove it from the switcher too, just like this. And then we'll go ahead and launch some games. But we're going to go ahead and start off with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I'm going to go ahead and try to launch all these applications at the exact same time, so definitely bear with me. Again, I did my absolute best to try to time this as perfectly as I can, but again, there it is for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the initial app launch. And of course, we just have this little splash screen here, and then we have this thing we actually have to skip. So again, I just skipped that real quick. And then the most important thing with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is the start game, which is this one right here. So of course, without a doubt, all the devices performed this task very well. It seemed the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10, with loading this intro sequence you're about to see, was pretty much, exactly on the same level. They're pretty much tied, with the iPhone 7 hanging a little bit behind. But again, that could change, vary depending on a few different factors. But regardless, the takeaway was this loading sequence for San Andreas seemed to be loading very well on all of the devices. But again, the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 really do seem to be tied in this particular instance. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead and skip to the game using the little arrow there. Of course, all synchronized here. So we're just going to tap on that arrow there at the same time. And you see it actually loads into the game. All performed very well, pretty much exactly identical on all these three. So, all right, that concludes San Andreas for this test. We're just going to go ahead and exit out of it on all of these. And we'll go ahead and close the applications. Of course, got that new gesture on the iPhone 10. Still getting used to it, but go ahead and close that. All right, let's move on to Subway Surfers. We'll go ahead and open all of those up. And all performed, again, very, very well. You can see right there, pretty much exactly the same on all of them. Maybe a teeny advantage on iPhone 8 and iPhone 10, but really nothing you're ever going to notice in your actual reality, real life. So we'll also go ahead and hit the tap to play button to start the game at the same time. Again, identical as well. So all devices performing incredibly well with these tasks. So we'll just go ahead and close Subway Surfers, exit out of it as well. Then we could go ahead and move to Temple Run next. And all right, let's go ahead and open up Temple Run there on all three. And you can see the results with this one are pretty much identical on all three. as well. You can see right there, all performing very, very well, just like that. All right, let's go ahead and close out of these and clear the switcher. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to some stock applications. So now we're going to do some stock applications. We're just going to go ahead and do the weather application now. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. And pretty much all instantaneous, very fast, not much to say there. Maybe a teeny bit of a delay on the 10, but again, that could definitely vary between circumstances you do this, depending on a few different factors. So again, very fast though, not much to say there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and do the camera application, which is very important. You need to get into that app fast to take a photo before a moment passes you. And everything was very fast, although if you really wanted to determine a winner, the 8 was first, then the 10, and then the 7. But we'll just go ahead and close out of these and exit them in the switcher, and we'll move on to the next application, which is the Maps application. So go ahead and open that one up here. And all performed very well. The 8 opened first, and then the iPhone 7 and iPhone 10 came in next, pretty much at the same time. However, the actual map that had to load from the internet loaded first on the 10 and then on the 7. But again, all very good. We'll go ahead and close this, and we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be the App Store application. Now, keep in mind, the App Store application is mainly loading things from the web. So, of course, this could depend on your internet connection, how many people are on it, what type of connection it is, etc. So, don't hold too much weight in this one. But again, all performed very well. Opened it up very quickly. But again, it depends on the internet connection because it has to load, of course, information from the store. So go ahead and close those, and we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be the iTunes store. And the same thing applies. Again, has to load stuff from the web. And then we're just going to go ahead and open this one up here, iTunes Store. There you go. So we'll go ahead and close these. This actually concludes the app launching portion of the video. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Safari web page test. So we're just going to start off by going into the settings and clearing the Safari data for all 3 of these guys. And then we're just going to go ahead and back out of this and close the settings app and kill it in the switcher. Now, I do want to say for the Safari web page test, take this part of the video with a especially big grain of salt, just because this highly depends on the type of internet connection you have, how fast it is, how many people are on it, etc. So again, don't really take too much stock in this at all. But we're just going to go ahead and start off with apple.com. And as you can see here, it loads first on the iPhone 7, then the 10, and then the 8. I also threw in youtube.com as well. The same thing happened, first the 7, then the 10, and then the 8. But once again, do not hold too much stock in this. But yeah, this concludes the Safari test. We'll just go ahead and exit out on all these guys, and of course in the switcher as well. Of course on the 10 over here too. Go ahead and exit Safari. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get into the Geekbench, which is definitely a more reliable test. It's, much more scientific. It's not dependent on pressing the exact same thing at the exact same time. So we're just going to go ahead and open up CPU, and we're going to go ahead and run a benchmark on all these devices. So as soon as these are all done running, I'll be right back with the numbers. Alright guys, and the results are in here, as you can see. So on the iPhone 7, we have a single core score of 3,565, multi-core of 6,018. On the iPhone 8, we have a single core score of 4,251 and a multi-core score of 10,293. And on the iPhone 10, we have a single core score of 4,241 and multi-core score of 10,360. So all very powerful devices, but as you can see here, the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 definitely have an advantage here, especially with the multi-core score. And again, these devices do have the same processors, so that's to be expected here. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, nothing too scientific, basically just a visual exercise with the Geekbench included as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos pertaining to iOS devices. Also, make sure to follow the channel on Twitter and like it on Facebook. I'll put a link to my Twitter page and my Facebook page in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.